Welcome back. Part 3, Eco 501, Sections 1 and 2, Week 6, the week before the midterm. So in this part, we're going to look at the midterm, what's going to happen, and finally, what type of question settings or problem settings you may expect. So let's go to the slide share. Okay, as we said in our last class, that we've been informed that midterm will be totally online based. Okay, so my proposal was on week 7, section 2, their midterm will start at on Saturday, March 27, and section 1, their midterm will start on Tuesday, March 30. On the day of the class 7, as above, for section 2 first and section 1 later, I shall declare a question in Facebook group and via email. Most probably, I'm going to send it by email. Okay. Then questions shall be declared at 7 p.m. BD time, Saturday, March 27 for section 2 and Tuesday, March 30 for section 1. Submission has to be done by email to my Brack University account. I'm saying 9 p.m. at the moment. It may be 10 p.m. also, depending on what type of questions I end up doing. So if it's 9 p.m., I will assume that you won't need more than 1 hour to solve it and 1 hour to send. If it's 10 p.m., then I'll have to assume that you'll need 2 hours to do the assignment and 1 hour to send. Now, if you come up with a lame excuse, like we said in the last class, that I was late, I had this problem, that problem, no problem. For every hour of late submission after 9 or submission after deadline, whether that's 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., whatever, 1 mark shall be deducted. This we agreed last week that I'll be doing this to be fair to the rest of the class. Oh, this is the same thing. Let me delete it then. Okay. Now the midterm topics are topics that we covered in the last 5 weeks. Okay. Week 1, we basically we didn't do anything on week 1. We introduced the course and we introduced ourselves, myself to you and you to me. In week 2, we looked at trade-offs, incentives, exchange, information. Then we asked ourselves, how do these on their own or in a set, for example, trade-off and incentives together, trade-offs and information together, influence decision making? So that could be one type of problem you may end up looking at, that develop a situation or discuss a situation where trade-offs and exchanges are discussed. Or another set could be the trade-offs and informations are discussed, etc. Week 3, we discussed rationality, price-taking behavior, and property rights. The main thing was, why did we need these 3 concepts? Number 3 in week 3. Why do we need issues of topic 1? Why do we need rationality? Why do we need price-taking behavior? Why do we need property rights? Then we discussed alternatives to prices, and we discussed only 3 models: queues, lotteries, and coupons. Why did we discuss this? Price is not the only signal through which resources can be allocated. There are alternatives to prices, for example, queues, lotteries, and coupons. How do these alternatives to prices influence different business models? This is what we wanted to look at. In week 4, we discussed marginal analysis and net present value. So in topic 4, okay, sorry, in number 3, in week 4, why do we need issues of topic 1? This could be a small, conceptual question. Then we discussed elasticity of demand and factors affecting elasticity of demand. In the midterm, we may come up with a business model, or we ask you to develop a business model where you want to use one factor of elasticity or different factors of elasticity or a combination. We looked at 5 to 7 factors that affect elasticity of demand. In the midterm, you could see a set of, okay, the number 1, number 3, and number 4, these 3 factors. Or it could be number 2, number 3, number 4, these 3 factors, or 2 factors, whatever. So, uh, so that you think. In week 5, we discussed production and cost, diminishing returns, and concepts of short run and long run. And now the midterm, how will the problems be set? A, there will be a case study that involves a set of concepts of week 1 to 5. So I could mix a topic of week 2 with a topic of week 4. I could mix a topic of week 3 with topic of 4, week 4 with topic of week 5. So it could, and all these concepts that we've discussed in the previous slide, week 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5, it will be a combination of these 5 weeks. And another thing, there could be a basic conceptual question like, for example, why do we need marginal analysis? As we said in this discussion right now, why do we need net present value? Why are we obsessed with trade-offs, etc. and etc. Okay, how do they influence our decision making? So basically, your midterm problem setting will have 2 components. First component will be a case study, depending that will incorporate concepts from week 1 and 5 in any combination. Second will be a basic conceptual question. Okay, and I'd like to mention now that, oh, sorry, I should have written it here. Let me do it. Just a second. All scripts shall be run through Turnitin plagiarism checker to ensure fairness. I may, if situation demands, take viva of selected candidates. Please try to answer from own thoughts. Okay. And another thing that we discussed in the last week, marks will be presented as a percentage, i.e. in letter grades. Because if we later learn that the midterm weight change has to change, I will have to convert the marks, but the percentage and letter grades, percentage and letter grades will remain unchanged. So, good luck. What we are going to do during our class, we'll discuss all these topics in detail. So for the time being, the final comments are to ensure fairness among, in the class. And you see, I'll run all scripts through Turnitin. There will be penalty if found too similar to an internet source, to an external source. Okay, and then I may, if situation demands, take Viva of selected candidates. Please try to answer from own. Okay. Finally, the marks will be presented as a percentage, i.e. 85%, 90%, etc. in letter grades. Why are we going to do that? Suppose I take the midterm in 30 marks. Later on, we find out that the midterm is going to be, the weightage is going to be say 40. So what do? I'm going to convert it. Even if I convert it, no problem, since I'm going to declare percentage and letter grades. Any conversion, if your program advises us to do so, will be honored and will not be affected. So this brings us to the end of part 3 of week 6. See you all later during the discussion class. Okay, bye then.